What's up, everyone? We got the Audi 2009 A3 hatchback back on the road, taking it for his first test drive. Got the high beams on because I'm on a hot back road here. We in the country, y'all. Anyways, watching the temp gauge on the dash there, watching the readings here on the scanner as I'm driving. We're at 201. Fans been cycling on and off as they should. We did replace the radiator on this. If you watched the other video, it had cracked. Did the PCV valve, did the radiator. Not able to do the knock sensor. You have to remove the water pump. It's stashed behind it pretty deep in there. We're going to hold off until later in the future when the water pump actually needs to be replaced. Then we'll do the knock sensor then. Anyways, for right now, we just got a TPMS light. I adjusted the air pressure before I left. I set them all at 35 before I took off, just to make sure that it wasn't just a sensor letting me know that one of the tires was off, had a slow leak or whatever. The car's been in the shop for a week, so I know air pressure's good. I'm hoping that driving it around, the computer will just reset itself and turn that TPMS light off on its own. A lot of times they'll do that just by adjusting the air pressure and driving them. If it doesn't, then he's probably got a faulty TPMS and he's going to have it scanned by an actual TPMS sensor, appropriate sensor, and have it replaced and then reprogrammed. But that is the only light on the dash. Transmission is shifting good, driving smooth, no leaks of any kind, no smells of any kind. It's a successful job. I would have liked to have done a better video of this in the daytime, but he needs the car back tonight. He needs to drive this thing to Tampa tomorrow. I'm talking to y'all from beautiful Orlando, Florida area here, and I'm just putting a couple little miles on it, driving it around my area where I live here before he takes it to Tampa to make sure. Normally I'd like to keep this car, test drive it around town for at least a day, put a good 20-30 miles on it, and go from there before I give it back. I did replace the intake manifold gasket and clean the fuel injection, direct fuel injection O-rings and things like that. So I want to make sure that everything settles into place and nothing leaks. Again, the car came in mainly for a rear main seal, and he took it somewhere else. Like I said, just to recap for those that missed the earlier videos, he took it somewhere else, had a transmission replaced, a used one, and they neglected to replace the rear main seal, and he was leaking oil out all over the place and burning on the exhaust and everything else. So he was very obviously disappointed with that shop, and he brought the car to me, and I went ahead and dropped the same transmission they had just installed again to properly install the rear main seal. We went ahead and did the PCV valve. Again, like I said, these things are notorious for having bad PCV valves that'll go bad, and because the PCV valve goes bad, you have a positive crank ventilation pressure that is not acting properly, and it'll look to relieve that pressure from somewhere else, and the weakest link will end up being the rear main seal, and it'll blow out the rear main seal. So with the new PCV valve, it's less likely to blow that rear main seal out again. Again, we couldn't do the knock sensor. Went ahead and did the radiator, heater core to coolant bypass fittings broke, and we had to replace some of those. That's pretty much it. Everything else was R&R, remove and replace. I did have to drop the subframe on this Audi to to be able to have access to that transmission and get everything in properly accordingly the way it should. Yeah, so it definitely wasn't an easy job, but we're glad it's over. Putting a couple miles on it to see if that computer will pick up on them TPMS sensors before he gets here. Doing a little loop-de-loop, a little 10-mile loop-de-loop around my area where I live here, and gonna head back to the shop, check it again. I already drove it around the neighborhood a couple times prior to making this video, just to make sure we had no leaks or no mishaps. Everything seems to be okay. We are ready to send him off to Tampa in this vehicle. He's working out there. He lives in Orlando, but he's working in Tampa. So that's where this car is getting ready to go tomorrow morning. Anyways, just wanted to make this video to document the conclusion of the 2009 Audi A3 2.0 turbo, front wheel drive, not quattro. And keeping an eye on temp gauge. Like I said, we're rolling pretty steady. And the temperature side, it's a bumpy road, y'all. 205, 200 to 210 is about where it rides at. Smack in the middle. Fans are working as they should. It's a pretty successful little job. I wouldn't raise my hand and volunteer to do this job again. I definitely feel like I charged a lot less than what the job was worth. I should have definitely charged more the next time somebody comes around and asks me to do one of these. I know what to charge them. I know how many hours have to go into it. I know what has to be done. I didn't expect to have to drop the subframe and the lower control arm to get this out. And then, you know, the transmission's real heavy. It slid off the jack, off the transmission jack, and ended up cracking the radiator, and then we got into that. There was some wasted time on taking the customer's word and us thinking that the knock sensor was easy. Just remove the intake and it's there. So we removed the intake for nothing really other than to replace the gasket and put it back, because the knock sensor was buried behind the water pump. So there was quite a few hours into this car. If I were to look at it as far as hourly, the time invested in this car and what I charged, I shot myself in the foot. I really made no money on this job. I'm just glad it's over, and customer's a friend that I value, care about, and glad to see it's going to a new home. I know he'll be happy with it, and hopefully it'll be good to him for a while. Anyways, I could ramble. I love to ramble, but successful job. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up and wait for him. He should be arriving any moment, and be a happy guy taking this thing back to his house. And hopefully I don't have to see it again for a while. Anyways, we're back at the shop. Thanks for watching. This thing back in park. Again, temp is holding. TPMS light is still there. He's gonna have to go have somebody with a TPMS scanner scan that. I don't have one of those. Documented mileage returning the vehicle, 144,279. So that's where it's at, 144,279. As you can see, the date over there, I don't think that date is correct, but anyways, today is not the 19th. Anyways, y'all, thank y'all for watching. And we will be in touch as far as the next job we got coming in. See y'all in the next video. God bless y'all. Peace. I'm tired. I'm going inside to rest.